Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great week as this beautiful fall season continues. I want to thank those of you who have taken the short worship survey that the session is offering all of you to give us your input on what you've liked about our worshiping styles and times these past several months during the pandemic and what you'd like to see going forward. If you haven't taken that survey yet, there's a link attached or as part of this email where you can click on it and it'll take you directly to the survey. There's only 11 questions. It'll take you a couple, 3 minutes is all. And again, we appreciate your feedback as we attempt to figure out what is the right way going forward for us as a congregation when it comes to worship. I also want to talk with you briefly this morning about riches. I think according to the definition and comparatively to those around the world, all of us would be considered rich financially. And that's due to the fact that we've worked hard, we've saved our money, we've been diligent about it in order for it to be a blessing not only to ourselves, but to others. The theologian Frederick Buechner makes some comments on riches. Because as we all know, while riches and wealth and money can be a blessing, there are also some challenges that come with having riches. This is what he says. The trouble with being rich is that since you can solve with your checkbook virtually all of the practical problems that bedevil ordinary people, you're left in your leisure with nothing but the great human problems to contend with. How to be happy, how to love and be loved, how to find meaning and purpose in your life. In desperation, the rich are continually tempted to believe that they can solve these problems too with their checkbooks, which is presumably what led Jesus to remark one day that for a rich man to get to heaven is about as easy as for a Mercedes to get through a revolving door. What Buechner is getting at, of course, is that money, riches, make our lives so much easier in many respects. And yet, money or riches do not solve the problem of happiness for us, do not equate by itself to meaning and loving in our lives. There's more than that. Riches can be a blessing, but they can also be a challenge for us. Many of you are blessed to live in retirement, and you know the blessing of retirement. But Buechner also makes some comments about retirement that might resonate with you as well. He says somewhere around the age of 65, many people decide it's time to stop working and just enjoying life. The trouble, of course, is that they're apt to discover that with nothing much to do except play golf, travel, catch up on their reading, watch TV, and so on, life isn't all that enjoyable. They need something to give themselves to, the way they once gave themselves to their jobs. The question is, give themselves to what? Maybe they could do worse than give themselves to the world that needs them as much as they need the world. This may involve things like volunteer work at the hospital or delivering meals on wheels or heading the library fund drive. But the place where giving yourself to the world starts is simply paying attention to the world, to the people you've been saying hello to for years without really knowing them, to the elementary school kids hanging upside down on the jungle gym, to the woman taxi driver with the face of a Boston bull and no teeth to speak of, who waits for fares at the bus stop, to the old vets marching down Main Street on Memorial Day. If retirees just learn to keep their eyes open, the chances are they'll find themselves more involved, fulfilled, challenged, and nourished than all the years they spent with their noses to the grindstone, and enjoying themselves more too. Maybe you'd resonate with those words. If you're retired, or even if you're not retired, but aspire someday to be retired. Money doesn't lead to more love or happiness in and of itself. Those things that we find that we need in our lives, the meaning of a faithful life, come through being aware of what's going on in our world and giving of what we have, our time, our talents, in addition to our money, to make the world better, to make other people's lives easier and more fulfilled. So let us consider our blessings, the blessings of being rich, in monetary ways, but in also the other ways that make life so rich. Our relationships, our time that we get to spend with those we love, and the opportunities that we have to serve other people. In these COVID months, how important is that? The blessing of making someone else's life meaningful. Through our money, perhaps, and then in turn, having our lives made even more meaningful too. I appreciate all that you do to make our ministry here rewarding for others. Your giving to the church is amazing and has been amazing since this whole thing started. We thank you for that. Thank you for thinking of others as much as you think of yourselves. You've earned your money. You've earned the right to enjoy it, and also you've earned the right to have it make a difference in someone else's life. I hope you'll have a great week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in worship, either outside, inside, or online this weekend.